I hope you're happy to see me too. Welcome to Wandia's World. My name is Wandia, your online friend, I think, but no, not I think. I am your online friend, and you are my family, and I'm just happy to be here. So apparently, over the last 3 weeks, I think if you have followed me, you realize I've been saying I've been in a kind of tricky situation, but all in all, we thank God we are back to life, and we are here, and we say hallelujah. And and during that period, I've been thinking, I've been very creative, very creative. I've written down so many topics, and once I had done the setup and ready to roll, I was to do something else. But in my heart, I was so convinced I need to do a different topic, really, which I had said I will do it, and I had not prepared for it. So, and this topic is about self-love, because that is what I have been practicing for all that time that I've been, indoors. Self love and just taking care of myself. And as I was thinking about self love, I came to realize that self love, really, you cannot love yourself fully if you're not self aware, if you do not know yourself, you do not understand yourself. And sometimes we think about knowing ourselves in terms of maybe in relation to the work that we do, or whatever careers that we have, or professional backgrounds that we have, or academic backgrounds that we have, or the people who we know somewhere. We relate ourselves with all this, and we say we know ourselves, but really knowing yourself is you knowing your inner person, your inner man, who you are from the inside out. And when you realize and when you're self-aware, then you are able to know how to love yourself more, how to appreciate yourself more. I know the cliche that has been going on about self-love, it is, you taking nice pictures where post kwa TML yako, and put a nice caption out there, get a good picture with a good friend of you, take yourself to the spa, go for a massage, take a plane to Mombasa, have that spectacular vacation. And all these, we call them self-love. And yes, I do not I do not refuse, they are acts of self-love, but for you to really understand what gives you joy, and and you doing these activities that give you that peace of mind, it must have come from somewhere, and I believe it is from self-awareness. So what is self-awareness? I think for me, self-awareness is you seeing yourself clearly from the inside. Like you having a mirror, the way you can stand in front of a mirror and see your outside self in a mirror and know, these are my scars, this is my complexion, my hair is this long. Self-awareness is you seeing yourself from the inside and knowing, these are my behaviors, these are my weaknesses, these are my strengths, these are the environment. I can thrive well in such environments, I cannot thrive well in such environments. These are the type of people who I relate with, maybe intellectually, and these are the people who I cannot deal with, and I cannot help, I cannot entertain in my life, such etc. Examples. These are things of, that help you realize how self-aware you are, because I have realized most of us live our lives from a place where we just unconscious about how we live our lives. We do not plan ourselves. We just roll with whatever society is rolling with. We just roll with the trends that society is rolling with. Maybe if it's a friendship, you just hang out with friends for the sake of you hanging out with friends, even if the type of activities you guys do, you do not find joy in doing these things, but because you are not self-aware in terms of, you haven't come to a place where you're confident in yourself and saying, me, these things are not for me, and no, I'm not doing that just because you want me to do that thing. And I think that's why maybe some of us suffer mentally because of such things. As I was thinking about it, I was just telling myself that, for me to realize and for me to reach a place of a place of being self-aware. I need to be honest with myself. So I think honesty is one key for us to be, to reach that place where we are self-aware. Being honest with yourself, being honest with your behaviors, being honest with your actions, being honest with how other people's action affect you, being honest with your triggers, being honest with your weaknesses, being honest with your strength. Because most times, as that example I have said about maybe you and your friends, sometimes you just roll out with people just because you do not know what you want for yourself. You are not aware of how their actions are really affecting you in one or another. Yes, you might know maybe this group of people where they are taking me, that is not the right place, or I should not be there. But since you haven't been honest with yourself to really say, because that place these people are taking me is not good for me and I won't go, and you decide it in yourself that you won't go, in ndasemaje, you do the opposite. You go with them, unajisukuma kwenda, unajisukuma maybe kupati, unajisukuma maybe kuhike, unajisukuma maybe kukunywa, or whatever thing that you people do. And at the end of the day, when you go back home, you feel so drained, your energy is out, you have hangover, and then you start regretting, why did I go there? And I think so many of us suffer from a place where we are not honest with yourself, because I believe once you're honest with yourself, you can honestly be honest with also the people who are around you. And even for them, if they're self-aware, they will honestly understand where you're coming from. And I was reading a story today in the morning. Someone had posted about this guy who says the ex-girlfriend who he had was a girl from the rich families. So for her, all these fancy vacations, fancy branches, and blah 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 were her thing. Yet for him, he was struggling because he's still in campus. He was struggling to really make ends meet. And yes, he was doing odd jobs to satisfy this girl, as much as she was not putting pressure on him kufanya hizi vitu. And he had to sit down and realize that I cannot match with this girl's financial, what do we say, financial class, and the way she spends her money, I cannot satisfy her. So we need to end this thing for me to have a peace of mind, because at the end of the day, he was doing extra work to satisfy this girl, and it was draining him and it was tearing him apart. So I think on the flip side, he would be honest about it and maybe try to talk about it with her and see how they can deal. If the girl says, well, if you cannot handle me, please chuck the door, well, that's another thing. But anyway, for him, understanding that he cannot fully fund this girl's lifestyle and whatever things that she was doing, and him being comfortable to actually live and go find peace for himself, I think that is one example of being self-aware. And most of us really, we subject ourselves in situations where we feel this environment is not okay for me, but you really want to stick to it for satisfaction or validation. I think it is more of validation, or validation, just because you do not want to feel alone, or you do not want to live the pleasure this, maybe let's say about relationships, this relationship is giving you, yet you know very well deep down this relationship is draining you. Once you're self-aware, you will really 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 be doing yourself a favor and doing your partner a favor when you tell him or her, you know what, I love you, yes, and this space, I'm enjoying this space, but I think I cannot go on with it because of 1, 2, 3 things. If your partner is mature enough and also self-aware, then you can find a solution to it. If it remains, it is only one-sided thing, then kindly shut the door and move on. And it's not a bad example, really. And another aspect of self-awareness, I was listening to an interview of Pastor Julian Killer, and he was saying entrepreneurship, self-awareness is one key aspect for success, for entrepreneurial success. Yeah, that is what he said. Self-awareness is one key to entrepreneurial success, because he was explaining, you can go to a meeting where you know your weaknesses as an entrepreneur, but if you're not self-aware, you will really impose your weaknesses also to your employees, which will make the environment so toxic. And and it will just reach a time where everything will just be going on the opposite side, because you do not want to accept that sometimes other things, there are people in your business who can do other things more professionally than yourself. And what he was saying is, as an entrepreneur, how self-awareness comes into action is you knowing your strengths, and you knowing your strength will really help you drive your business into the right direction. You knowing your weaknesses will really help you know how to delegate the duties that you're not good at specific people who you have identified that is their strength. And that's general what do I say, all together you can be able to work towards the goal that you intend for your business to achieve at the end of the day. And also being self-aware, you can know where you need to step back from your business and evaluate it from a different angle, rather than you pushing yourself towards one thing that you know is not working really, and you causing more troubles within your business. And and you can just do a simple thing as step aside, look at the business from a different angle, approach it from that angle, and life moves on. So self-awareness is one thing that really plays a major role in our lives. It plays a major role in our mental health and mental awareness. It plays a major role in our emotional being, because once you know a certain behavior triggers you in a certain way, you will avoid such being around such triggers. And if you cannot avoid such triggers, you have already found a solution on how to control yourself when you're around such environments. Because I was listening also to another chick, another, yeah, let me say chick, lady, who was talking about her life. And she was saying there was somewhere, there was a certain point in life where she was so problematic. And for her, she did not realize how her actions were really affecting her environment, because when she's with her friends, everybody is avoiding her. Once she gets a new job, her employers were really not satisfied. Not because she's not performing, she's a performer, but her soft skills, her behavior, her reactions to things were just too negative, to a point everybody avoided this person. And it took time for her to really realize that, and re-evaluate her life and realize that, yes, I might be thinking I'm self-aware and I know what I want from the people that I want it from, but also I can have another different approach of getting whatever I want, without really breaking the barriers and the bridges. Because that is the downside of self-awareness. You can be so self-aware that sometimes it overlaps the goodness of it, and it becomes too toxic also to the people who are around you. Because if you do not take shit because you do not take shit, at the end of the day you will tend to force yourself so much into people that it will start being toxic to them, and they will start avoiding you. So I think for me to find balance, it is really you knowing yourself. I have kept it in 3 ways: knowing who I am as a person, knowing who I want to be around and who I don't want to be around, knowing the environment that makes me thrive as a person and the environments that drain my energy, and knowing where I want to be maybe in future 5 years, 10 years to come, and how I'm going to achieve these things. And I think those are my key principles so far when I'm thinking about myself. And self-awareness is not a one-step journey, it is a continuous journey. It's something you get to learn every day. Because I say in this life, there's a slogan, I say you learn, relearn, you learn, relearn, and learn, and you learn and learn and relearn. There is who you are today, there is who you are yesterday, and there is who you will be tomorrow. The person who you were yesterday is not the same person that you are today, and the person you are today is definitely not the person you will be tomorrow. So self-awareness is a continuous journey where you need to do self-evaluation. I've ever done a topic in the Brotherhood Mentality channel about self-evaluation. Yeah, it is a process of continuous self-evaluation, knowing where you are at a particular season, and what you need for you to thrive in that particular season, and you'll also know when a season is over and when you're entering into a new season, and then now you get to self re-evaluate yourself and know, now in this season, what do I need, who do I need, and how am I going to thrive in this season. So I think self-awareness is very important. It is a short topic on self-awareness because it is just that, it is just you just knowing yourself fully from the inside out, and understanding what are your limits as a person, and what are your scopes of operation as a person, and even as you try to relate with other people. And as I say, it is also a medicine. I have come to realize of mental health issues, because when you know yourself, you know what pushes you to the corner. And if it pushes you to the corner and you have no solution, what do you do about it? And if you have a possible solution of dealing with it, then how do you execute these solutions? And as simple as it is, life is, because people who are self-aware, they seem a bit reckless and they seem to be more direct, but I think I admire them because they have the courage to stand on their ground and say, this is not what I want and I will not take it, rather than you forcing yourself into situations where you know they're not good for you, and when you go back home you again depressed, and then you start all these health issues that are not necessary. So I hope you get to analyze yourself and you get to know what triggers you, what makes you thrive, and environments that you want to be in, and people who you want to be in your life, and people who you do not want to be in your life, and how to go about that separation journey, and life becomes better. And I hope we will be healthy people, and we will thrive in whatever we are doing. So bye bye, till next time. Subscribe, like, share, and see you then. Bye.